I'm Natasha Taylor-Bryson and I'm watching a lot of Dynasty for a book I'm writing. Let's go. Krystle is in the hospital, Stephen is at the racetrack and Alexis is all in red. Welcome to Dynasty. So we open with Krystle on the way to the hospital. We don't know the status of the baby. Blake is waiting to hear news of what's going on with Krystle and the baby. Ever dutiful Jeff is by his side and Jeff tells Blake that he's jacked in his job at Colby Co because he was horrified that Blake had been cut out of the deal. Now, to say that he jacked in his job is a bit of an understatement. I mean, he is Jeff Colby, the company is Colby Co, he's heir apparent, he's just jacked in his inheritance. But when you've got perfect hair, you don't worry about such things. Blake to the rescue, hires Jeff on the spot, so he's now switching sides. Although slightly smaller inheritance, and he's got to stay married to Fallon to get it. Cut to Nick at his cabin. Nick and Fallon have enjoyed a night of relaxation, shall we say, and Fallon's got one of his shirts on, just gamely walking around the bedroom, you know, picking up things. Nick clearly wants her gone and she has no intention of going. Anyway, she picks up a photograph and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were in the army." Fallon, you don't know anything about this man. All you know is that he's not interested in you. And that's enough to pique your interest. Fallon teases Nick about being a mystery man, but says it's okay, she likes it. She likes the ups, the downs, the, you know, happy 1 minute, brooding the next. Fallon, none of this behaviour is invitation to love. Every single one of them is a warning sign and should be treated appropriately. And to add to that, if you kiss a man and then he looks at you like this, run away! Why do you do this? Smiling is not the right response. This man is going to stab you in the eye in the night with a fork. Something not good is going to happen. Did you see that cheek twitch? These are warning signs. Warning, warning, warning. Run away! But Fallon likes the bad, the mean, the... I don't know. Jeff loves and adores her. Maybe, I hadn't thought of this before, maybe she's just secretly jealous of Jeff's hair. He's got such perfect hair she can't compete, and as a beautiful woman she feels like she should have the best hair in a relationship. Back at the hospital, still no news. Jeff pops off to go and grab some styrofoam flavoured coffee and Blake drifts off into a flashback. And we're talking full on 1 minute 17 seconds. Long, long, long. I think at that length it doesn't count so much as a flashback as a recap. Two of my favourite scenes in this episode star the wonderful Joan Collins. So we have her back in her art studio. Now we know that Krystle is in the hospital because Alexis deliberately let off a gunshot which startled the horse, which threw Krystle, which dragged her through the meadow and knocking her unconscious. So we know what Alexis did. She's in her art studio. She's wearing a strapless, ruffled nightgown with matching ruffled dressing gown. She's on the phone to the hospital wanting to know about Krystle and giving some poor receptionist rooty toot because she's not getting any answers.
Are you a member of the family?
No, I am not a member of the family. But I do happen to be the first Mrs. Carrington, and I think I'm entitled to know how my former husband's wife is doing.
You know there is no sway in that argument. All you're really saying is, I am Alexis and give me what I want. And the woman hangs up on her. Nightwear is taken very seriously in Dynasty. I mean, I know we get Sammy Jo in her Speedo and matching shorts bedwear, but generally it's lace, it's satin, it's glamour. And as the series goes on, you get teddies, you get French knickers and camisoles. No slouchy PJs for Alexis or Krystle. Heaven forfend. Sammy Jo and Stephen go to a party with Sammy Jo's friends, and one of her male friends asked Stephen what he races, and he said he doesn't.
You don't race. You can't be getting very far with Miss Hot Rod here then.
So how do you persuade Stephen to race? You do this.
No guts, huh? Turkey.
That's all it took. Call Stephen a turkey and he will defend his non-turkey status. The fact that Stephen has never raced, that he's going to be borrowing somebody else's car, doesn't seem to bother Sammy Jo at all. She does seem to generally have her engines all revved up by the upcoming race, and she says to Stephen,
"Come on, Stephen, we're gonna boogie all night long."
Boogie. When was the last time you heard anybody say boogie? Back at the hospital, Blake finally gets some news. Krystle's doing well, but she lost the baby. And the doctor says in this very strange sing-songy voice, she lost the baby. It's like he's about to break into song. Don't believe me? Check it out.
But she lost the baby.
So poor Krystle, she's lost the baby and she can't have any more. Fallon gets back to the Carrington mansion from her assignation with Nick and bumps into Alexis on an early morning stroll, rocking a pair of jeans. So Alexis casual, it's really casual for Alexis. So we've got full-on jeans, we've got a nice shirt tied at the waist, we have over-the-shoulder jumper, the hair arranged in some kind of cute little bun, you know, with some kiss curls going on, and high heels. She comes across Fallon doing the walk of shame, although, you know, she's not really have any shame, she's just wearing the clothes from the night before. Alexis invites Fallon to the art studio for some bad coffee and motherly advice, neither of which Fallon wants. When Fallon will not tell Alexis where she's been, so Fallon says, "Where do you think I've been?" Alexis doesn't miss a beat and just says, "In somebody's bed." Fallon looks quite shocked. And then Alexis goes on to point out, she's not there to criticise anyone. "I've been there, I've travelled the same road home from similar beds." I thought it was quite eloquent, I kind of like that. Alexis just trying to point out, you know, be sure what you're doing.
On the other hand, some women don't appreciate what they don't have until they get it.
Jeff is back home after spending the night at the hospital with Blake, finds Fallon asleep in bed and looms over her in full Wonder Woman pose. He's not happy. And when she won't say where she's been, well, actually she says something like she went to the cabin to be on her own. He tells her that Krystle lost the baby and, you know, Fallon doesn't care.
What did you lose last night, Fallon? Your amateur standing?
And Fallon seems genuinely hurt by this. In a rare moment of non-therapy, we see Claudia by the pool. You know, she's got it all to herself. She's got the newspapers, a cup of coffee, seems very happy. In walks Alexis. Oh, we have to point out, she's wearing purple velour suit. So when relaxing, you would need a elasticated bandana. I don't know what it is. She doesn't look quite like she's been exercising, but you know, you got to complete the outfit. You never want to be knowingly under-accessorized, even in your sports gear. I don't know if Alexis is trying to wind Claudia up or she's attempting a bit of bonding. It can be very difficult to tell with Alexis.
As for Krystle and what you feel about her now, she too has suffered a loss. Paid her dues, as it were. No greater than yours, Claudia. And she's not a lodger here. She is mistress here. She still has everything. Everything.
Blake's having breakfast in Tushle's Fallon, looking all glowing and relaxed after her frolicking the night before.
So I'll just have something to eat and I'll go over to Jergens, order some flowers and go by and visit her.
She may not be in the best of shape.
Well, I'll try and cheer her up. I'll think of something.
Yeah, that's what Krystle needs, Fallon to come cheer her up. That's poor Krystle. Hasn't she been through enough? After boogieing all night long, Stephen is at the racetrack having not a good race, to be fair. He gets run off, but he is so jazzed. He is super excited. The adrenaline's pumping.
But there's more, Sammy Joe. There's the fact that I did it, and I loved it. And I love this track, and I love your home away from home, and I love you.
And Sammy Joe and Stephen hot-footed off to the cabin to be alone. Once at the cabin, Stephen is no longer interested. Maybe the adrenaline has worn off and he realises that she doesn't have the right body parts.
What's the matter?
I shouldn't have brought you here.
He tries to be super nice to her and say that, you know, she's Krystle's niece and he doesn't want to hurt her.
But you said you loved me.
She's not somebody who is used to being rejected. Alexis is very worried about Sammy Joe hooking up with Stephen.
I can't believe that.
You know, it's all about inheritance protection and the right girl. I don't know who exactly would be the right girl in Alexis's eyes. Is it someone with equal amounts of money, more money, someone that she herself could control maybe? And she knows she's not going to be able to control Sammy Joe. Although the main reason seems to be that she feels she's common.
It's the girl herself who bothers me. Her uncouth ways, her genius for the bizarre. We should make no kind of wife for Stephen, no kind of mother for his children.
Blake doesn't seem bothered by it one way or the other. Alexis has a theory, and she's basing it on men she has known, apparently, that some homosexual men, when they realise that the homosexual lifestyle is not for them. What does that mean, homosexual lifestyle? that they will rush into a relationship with the wrong girl, you know, even a tart they pick up from a bar. Now anybody behaving like that sounds to me like they're being harangued by their family to pretend to be straight for the rest of the world. But this theory seems to win Blake over, and he says he's going to have a chat with Stephen. Now Claudia's got away from Nick for most of the episode, but you know, it's time for some therapy. She's gone for a swim because she doesn't want to see him. He pitches up at the pool and gets a little Captain Jack, sticks up his leg on the chair. Is that just 70s manliness? I don't know what that pose is. It's certainly not a therapy pose. It's like, hey, the man is here. Love her swimming costume, by the way. Not so much support going on, but she's got the body for it and it looks great. And the heels, woo! She fights him every step of the aggressive therapy way.
Boy, Dr. Toscani, you're bright, but you're not that bright. In fact, in this case, you've got it all wrong. I hate my husband for what he did to me.
She gets this smile from Nick. That is really disturbing. Or is it just me? Am I being... No, that is disturbing.
Does the truth always make you smile like that?
And he just sniggers and says yes. What's the woman to do? Then we get my second favourite scene of the episode, also including Alexis. She manages to talk her way up into Krystle's bedroom. She's just like spraying the perfume, having a look around. Joseph comes in and wants to know what she's doing, and she says, I love this.
You asked Mrs. Carrington something. May I remind you that I do have a name, and that is my name.
It's such an odd turn of phrase. I love it. Alexis makes some pretty extreme Darwinian arguments about Krystle losing the baby. Maybe this is to assuage her guilt that, you know, if Krystle was strong enough, she wouldn't have fallen off the horse. So, you know, it's not Alexis's fault. It's Krystle's fault for being weak. And as Alexis says, Krystle wasn't the saddle born. To which Joseph points out that Alexis's father was a hatter.
By appointment to His Majesty the King. Very special hats, Joseph. So put that on your tedious head and wear it.
Blake is in the library trying to work out yet another problem in his world. His oil tankers are holed up in some port and he can't get them out. Andrew Laird, his lawyer, has been in Washington trying to sort things out. Anyway, they're discussing what to do, and we have another wonderful lean-to. We have Alexis all in red outside the door, and she hears the name Rashid Ahmed, and Blake wants to get hold of him. Laird says nobody knows where he is, but clearly Alexis does.
I just may be in the mood to pick up with an old friend. Liz, how do I get in touch with Rashid Ahmed?
The rather despondent Sammy Joe arrives back at the house with Stephen. Stephen is straight up to Claudia's room, who is wearing some very tight, very pleated trousers, and he declares his love. He says he loves her, he wants to marry her.
I don't love you, Stephen. I still love Matthew.
So she sets him free, you know, to go his own course. Dr. Nick brings tough love therapy to the hospital. This is Krystle's first day in the hospital. She's just found out that she has lost the baby and can't have another. And Nick is on her to release it and to, you know, it's her identity, and she doesn't know Blake, everything.
What about Krystle? What happened to her? You gonna sell yourself short? Aren't you worth more?
I don't want to hear this. Just leave me alone.
Dude, give the woman some time. Anyway, he always feels that therapy or the end of the session has happened when the woman breaks down and cries. He feels like he's done his job.
That's right, Krystle. Cry. I mean, cry for yourself if you want to. Cry for the child you lost, but... Dear God, don't cry for him.
On his way out, he bumps into Fallon, who's come to cheer up Krystle. Gosh. Anyway, she's thrilled to see him. He rebuffs her. She goes from, you know, genuine emotion...
I suddenly feel very shabby, Doctor.
...to instant jealousy.
Tell me something. Is my father's wife another?
Hooking up with Krystle, who has just lost her baby. Fallon, really? Anyway, we get a cliffhanger with a close-up on Fallon, who is not getting what she wants, which we know will only make her want him more.
I knew we weren't that ugly. I knew it.